said, it's like we really live in this little make-believe, put-on costume world, but you actually give substance to that. And it makes me proud to do this or try to make art out of it. And you do that for me, so thank you so much. Tonight, the sound from the main road is the only sound. Like waves or transports to heaven. There's another flashing in and away, like a purple cotton dress caught in the nail of a fence post. Flapping in the awkwardly busy breeze. Two girls are making out in a stairwell, turning on a woman's younger brother. But the sound tonight from the main road is the only sound. And so Romeo writes another. Woman, the envelope-licked Messiah, the no-return address, trapdoor sister. Woman, stretched out on a bed like a wedding dress. Woman, the electric guitar, leaning against the window of the world's last good idea. Wolf's lying sleeping books with important phrases that I thought I would come back to once I reached the end. Girl, the dandelion, the yellow flower that is lumped in with the weeds every suburban Sunday. Girl, the dragonfly dancer supreme. Girl, the Christmas tree scraped knee still planted in the snowy haunted woods. Girl, skinny in a mini skirt, admittedly does flirt in the palace of Joan of Arc, as light hits metal reflecting against the gypsy's ruby pearl between her small breasts against her fill-in-the-blank heart. Girl, the X showing us where to start. Now I'm told Hank Williams, he died in the back of a chauffeur-driven Cadillac en route to a show. But look what a scourge is laid upon our hate, that heaven finds means to kill our joys with love, wrote Shakespeare of Juliet and her Romeo. I was just a boy on the road to ode to joy. I've been a family man, I've been a ladies' man, I've been a jealous man, I've been a blues man. Sundown in a small village we'll call East Van. But I turned to the sky for consolation just when I thought all of the sacred scripture had gone and left. But this is the gospel according to a purple cotton dress. And as I lift up its ripped hem, and my cheek is against her inner thigh, there's a rainbow in my burnt sugar breath. But I'm like the sounds from the main road, always drifting in and away. I blame it on Hank Williams. I always got them honky-tonk blues. 'Cause tonight, the sound from the main road is the only sound. It's like waves or transports to heaven. All right. Please stay. It happens to every guy when we drink a little bit. Just give me 5 minutes. When I was a kid, the teenagers said I looked like Springsteen. Now I'm older. Young rebels tell me, you know, you remind me a little bit of Tom Waits. Huh. I always thought I looked like Denzel Washington, playing Woody Guthrie in a movie. Filmed in Vancouver, but made to look like a crime scene in the United States. Because Mozart is music and Muhammad Ali is poetry. I'm one of a kind, darling. But I guess you're just gonna have to wait around and see. Well, he showed up with a harmonica around his neck, and he blew into the tiny instrument when his lyric was sung. He sounded a little bit too much like Bob Dylan, said Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Go fuck yourself, replied Neil Young. 'Cause Picasso was painting, baby Nina Simone is the sound. I'm one of a kind, babe. You'll find out if you take the time to stick around. Sometimes I hear a brother or sister singing them Southside blues. Sure reminds me of a freight train that I know. I don't know if Richard Pryor made it to heaven in that red suit. But if he did, Gabriel and the angels are in for one hell of a show. 'Cause truth is Lenny Bruce, and honesty was Ginsberg's how. I'm one of a kind, darling. And I got no plans of throwing in the towel. 'Cause Public Enemy is hip-hop and Sinatra, he's showbiz. She said, really? You think you look like Denzel Washington playing Woody Guthrie in a movie? I said, darling, I haven't even told you who my leading lady is. 'Cause Tom Waits is a piano and shit, Springsteen's New Jersey Turnpike. She says, okay, who's your leading lady? I said, Stephen Harper. But in the movie, he plays an anti-pipeline commercial drive Butch died. Then she kissed me soft. She said, baby, you're surely one crazy fella. Then our city turned into a watercolor painting as we walked neath my umbrella. Going to put on some music and hopefully we'll have some drinks together. You guys good? Yeah. It's kind of IKEA-ish in here. I mean, I'm good. Kind of like the Banff Center or something. I like bars, old places, but it will grow in me. I hope in the next 5 minutes. It's called Orphan. Vienna, May 7th, 1824. Those in attendance stood and applauded Beethoven's Ninth Symphony with a fuck protocol, ruckus, firestorm ovation of unbridled happiness, though it fell on the composer's deaf ears. Birds fly, ocean pounds the sand. My father is losing his hearing, and my mother has nightmares. Even as a kid, from the other end of the house, I could hear her crying in her sleep like she was being haunted. So I prepare these prayers. I sign all the documents to make them official. You can call what I do postmodern Joni Mitchell. But what can you do when even your city subway runs through the sky? Now, my mother had a grand piano. She taught neighboring kids how to read music chapter by chapter. She played at weddings, at church, or drinking white wine with her French friend Chantal, who just moved to our small Ontario village from the outskirts of Montreal. She had 2 kids of her own and shacked up with her next door neighbor who was also divorced for over a year. Airwolf and A-Team were the hit shows of the day. Madonna and George Michael were considered risque. But glass of wine in hand, Chantal used to love to listen to my mother play. Misplaced in a small town, what was I to do? When even the train tracks in my backyard was overrun with weeds and rust. But it broke my 9-year-old free will when the local tough guy showed up in our front door in a suit looking for piano lessons. Now, my first thought was, as I turned down the TV to overhear their conversation, was, I bet he wants to play in a rock and roll band. But like the innkeeper in us all, my mother said, I'm sorry, young man, I'm all booked up. Now, the tough guy was older than me, but I knew his reputation. Very gentlemanlike, he didn't raise his voice. He said, ma'am, what if I came back in a few months? She said, I'm sorry. Closed the door. Now, in my mother's defense, black sheep lose their beauty because there's only so many lessons you can give for free. I just thought those hands that could knock a jaw to the curb need a chance to touch those ivory keys. Maybe my tune would change fast. As it was my jaw he was breaking while liquored up on his dad's hidden stash that he found in the glove box. But then again, maybe he'd be less likely to do so if his hands were skilled in the art of power chords, to be played under Leonard Skinner and Motley Crue. But really, what can you do when even limousines are being pimped out to look like pickup trucks? In my mother's old age, she was about to fort in this old Anglican church. I think she stayed in the stained glass fort overnight. She's turned a crucifix into a slingshot, and she conducts the crickets like her choir, fending off her bad dreams. When I'm not on the road, I make my living in town selling road maps for a nickel to lost children in bandit rags by the burnt-down circus tent, their wild blue eyes accentuated by debris ash. These ugly ducklings of legitimacy on Black Swan open mics are frustrated by highway detour signs. Their will is shattered like the glass beneath their feet. My mother was cut open from my birth. She has a scar to prove it, and new shoes from my sister. My friends, my whole life, all I ever wanted was a little adventure. And tonight, fueled by chain smoking and endless shots of Jaeger, I just pray that my mother's nightmares stop. For if and when they do, world peace will kiss the belly of the church, and heaven will finally learn to sing the blues. Stuck in this ghost town, what was I supposed to do? But open up for business. Piano lessons for tough guys and sexy women from Montreal. I just need one student to make this shit official. You can call what I do postmodern Joni Mitchell. But the meaning of that, only my mother would understand. He doesn't want to teach. He wants to play in a rock and roll band with a sound so unearthly and joyous. Maybe it can end our nightmares. Birds fly and the ocean pounds the sand. And each night my mother prays that her son's music will not fall on her husband's deaf ears. Spanish, French, German, Canadian, American. This is all one language. Please come along